I mean, I've suffered with depression for on and off, and then I started finding out about, like, I knew I had OCD from, well, ex girlfriends, mothers have told me, all sorts, but then I started finding out about POCD, like pure OCD, how it's the thoughts rather than the one with the routines. I looked into CBT, NLP, and all these sorts of things. But when I went to the doctor, it was like antidepressants. What's your opinion on that traditional, like the health modalities that we typically see? The healing modalities. It's here's a bunch of chemicals, on you go. Nothing about lifestyle changes. Nothing about growth as a person, like you're advocating, and all these amazing changes you help people do. But why do you think the NHS over in the UK and all these other places just go, here's some tablets, come back in 6 months? Why do we treat it like that, do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it's really down to, I guess it's just time, really. And I think a lot of doctors are there just to really help you not get better, rather than not get worse, rather than actually getting better. You don't usually go to a doctor and he kind of starts saying, well, you should do meditation, you should do breath work, you should do
Mm.
follow it more holistically. It is naturally, I've been in that situation, it is antidepressants, it is being labeled as PTSD and all this type of stuff. And I think those things that are dangerous, because it's a label, really. And then when you associate yourself with that particular label, like an OCD or PTSD, then you define yourself as your identity as a person with that, when obviously you're not. You have to separate yourself from that. And when you separate, it's again like diabetes or anything else, or someone who's got certain, has been sort of diagnosed with some other sort of, you could even go as far as cancer as well, really. But because obviously I know a lot of people who obviously do the chemotherapy, but also do a lot of work on from a meditation perspective, because they ultimately beat frequency beats chemistry. So it's about raising your own frequency. And so there's a lot in there, but that's a whole other subject. But I think we're from a NHS perspective, or from a doctor perspective, it's just, yeah, here's this, bang, and then off you go type stuff. Where they're really looking at some of they don't have the time to do that, or the resources to do that. And I think it is dangerous, because I do naturally, people who have come to me, have been on, certain antidepressants now for such a long period of time, and it's very difficult to change that.
You start to
And
rely on it, don't you?
yeah, because they do, because it's a need, and you see that now. Obviously, we live in a culture of instant gratification. Everyone wants the quick fix, and they don't, in a lot of cases, want to take the time to actually do the inner work. And that's really the journey, is going more inwards, because everything, all the answers are within you, but you have to be able to you go to the Delphi temple, it's know thyself. And that's the thing. It's like, do people want to sit and actually really start understanding themselves? And a lot of people, find it massively uncomfortable to do that. Every time they're alone, or they're quiet with their mind, they'll pick up the phone. They're looking for that distraction, because they don't want to deal with that situation. And obviously, medication from a doctor helps that, because it's a quick fix, or
I mean,
short term. It's a plaster on a wound.
well, I mean, I certainly, when I started them, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing," because it was affecting my biochemistry at the start, and I was like, "Oh, and I could see myself like, 50 miles an hour." But then after a while, you just settle. It kind of it's like beginner gains in the gym. You get a wee bit of a buzz because you're completely new to it, and then suddenly it's like, oomph. And if you don't put anything else into it, you don't change.